Hi, my name is Juliet Marquez, and I will be doing my presentation on Title IX, Gender Issues in Sport. So just to, start it off with the next slide on background and history, Title IX was a law that was passed on June 23rd, 1972, which basically prohibits discrimination on the basis of sex in any federally funded education program or activity, meaning that both genders were allowed to play in sports, mainly females. Not saying that there wasn't any women participating in sports beforehand. It's just now it was federally funded and it was enforced in all schools and in all universities and whatnot that they uphold whatever the men's side has or the boys' side has. The girls' side has to have the opportunity to have it as well. So on the next slide, the issues and problems. So this Title IX has been, well passed for 40 some years, and a lot of people don't really know what Title IX is or the importance of it. The girls today know. I don't even think some of the girls even know that at one point they weren't allowed to play in a sport, but that's just what I mean by my first bullet point. The lack of knowledge with the law is well below average. So people don't really know how far we came, other than the people who are in college right now. And I've said this before, I didn't know about Title IX until maybe like my third year in college. And it just wasn't that, one, I wasn't taking the courses that you could have talked about it all that often. I imagine, obviously, if you're like a liberal studies major or something like that, they're going to mention it a couple times. But I had no knowledge of what Title IX was. And if I had known earlier, or, I would have at least respected, what I was doing at the time of playing sports collegiately and whatnot. I mean, I respected it as it was, but I wouldn't have taken it for granted. But that's just what I mean, is that the lack of knowledge with this law is well below average. And then when the higher ups are more so athletic directors and whatnot, who are older sometimes, there's a problem with allocating funds to run all the programs at a college or university or high school. So with that, they're more of, so if there's a boys program and there's a girls program that's not really succeeding, let's just take instead of give. And that's just a problem of what is going on, is that not a lot of people know how to allocate the funds. They don't know how to basically balance the situations when it comes to that. And this goes into the current literature on issues and problems on the next slide. So Donna Lopiano, she was in the sports and justice video that was part of our forum in the gender issues in sports lesson plan. Donna basically said in her video that, for a hypothetical question, imagine that you're the president or you're the CEO of a company and you get hit with a lawsuit for discriminating against sexes with salary. And instead of, trying to make up, the females were suing the company that they were being paid less. But her point was, what most people tend to do is they tend to, they're going to go tell the males hey, you guys need to take a 50% cut rate so that we can give it to the other side. But that's not the problem. That's not the solution. That's not what we should be doing. We should be trying to, give into it and, either take something out of a budget or, try and figure it out that way rather than just taking and then giving to the other side. And it's just more of a problem of, everybody's trying to cut the pie equally, but that's not the solution. You can't really cut a pie equally if it's already set to one side. And so that was what Donna had basically brought up, and that it was a really good video. If you guys haven't watched it, I would definitely watch it. But because of her, I actually found a website of hers. And so on Significant Resources, she runs a sports management resource company, and it's basically a consulting firm that goes in and they'll go into high schools and universities and different companies and stuff to enforce Title IX. If there's a problem with Title IX, they'll go in there and they'll tell you, hey, this is what's going wrong. Let us consult you. Let us help you out, because obviously this is a law that can easily be broken, and lawsuits can definitely result in that. But mainly the program is to bring the knowledge of nationally recognized educational sports experts to help athletic directors solve integrity, equity, growth and development challenges of their respective athletic programs. And so it goes into that, and it's honestly, she's kind of like I feel like she's a trailblazer in the sense that, she founded this program, or she founded this firm, and they go in there and they help people out because, like I said, not a lot of people know about it. And this goes into my next slide with solutions. I think Title IX should be, and I've said this in many of my other presentations, is that I think Title IX should be taught in classes as low as, high school and, maybe even like middle school. And now that I think about it, there's probably hinted about it in history books, but like I said, there's a lot going on in 1972 for it to easily be, looked over. But definitely, I also think that it should be educated in classes, and there should be some type of testing taken every 2 years if you're at the athletic level, or the collegiate level, or any type of level. You should have to take an exam and make sure you're up to date on it. Because just like for college coaches, we have to take, what was it called? I think it was like a compliance test. And it's basically a test that's making sure that we know the knowledge of the rules and whatnot that goes into the CCAA for athletes to be eligible, for athletes to play, for athletes to quit, and all that stuff. It should be the same for Title IX. And the last one was recommendations. Is I think that everybody should follow this link and go to this website and definitely check it out. So it's Donna Lopiano's website. It's the sports management resource website. And you'll be able to click on it, and you can follow it, and you can look at it. It's really interesting to look at, and it's really uplifting to see, just because, as for me, if I wasn't in school right now, or like if I hadn't, been continually talking about Title IX, I don't know where I would go to, find out more. And definitely this kind of, gives me the, little clip note version of it. And definitely kind of get you thinking of like, okay, is my program doing that, or is it not? But anyways, hope you enjoyed this presentation, and the next slide is references. So if you guys have any questions, let me know.